If you go further in the section, they give you troubleshooting, similar to the John Deere. This is a condition that you're seeing. This is going to be what causes it, and this is a correction that you can do to fix it. And these are very valuable for fixing electrical problems because it gives you some starting points to figure it out. After troubleshooting, which tons of those, they get into components. And they talk about each thing. If there's an adjustment, you have a seat switch. The seat switch has a height. If you have it adjusted wrong, it doesn't work, or it works intermittently. So if they have that, they give you that specification that's in there. Here's your starter motor. So they give you specifications on it. They'll tell you how to troubleshoot it, but if the problem is the starter, they don't tell you how to take it apart and actually check it. So they're pretty brief. They're not going to tell you if you need to remove the starter, it says remove starter. They assume that you understand how to remove the starter, what plates have to come off, what bolts have to come off, how it's marked, and they presume that you know how to take the starter apart and actually adjust it, fix it, test it, repair it. And so they're not very helpful in most of those scenarios. And so the quality of the manuals is not as good. This particular machine has a Kohler engine in it, so instead of reprinting the whole manual on Kohler, they just give you the manual from Kohler. And so that book, this is just the engine, is almost half as thick as the whole rest of the machine. So you have lots of information on the engine, and the rest of it gives you the technical information you need with no frills and not a whole lot else. The other John Deere book that you have, if you have one that has the numbers, that one's a little bit different. It's set up the same way. The order is the same way. The difference is when you look at the table of contents, it'll have section 20. Section 20 is the engine. Every single book, section 20 is going to be the engine. Section 220 is adjustments and checks that you're going to do. If I want to take something apart on the engine, I would go to section 20. If I want to do some tests and adjustments, I want to do a compression test, I want to adjust the carburetor, I'm going to go to the adjustments and operation. If I'm dealing with a hydraulic problem and I want to understand how the hydraulics work, I would go to 270. I would go to 270. Section 70 will tell me how to take the hydraulics apart and repair it. 270 is going to tell me theory of operation. If I want to know what makes the lift arms actually go up and down, what valves move, how the flow goes, I would have to go to a section at the very end that tells me theory of operation. In the theory of operation, they're going to give me pictures with color. This is the rock shaft, and it's going to show me with color and pictures how it functions. You're not going to find theory of operation in a Toro manual, in a Jacobson manual. All the manuals that I have that are on Cushman and Ransom and all those, they don't give me theory of operation. This is one of the few books that will give me theory of operation so I can study it so that I understand the system so I can troubleshoot it. And they give you pages and pages and pages of color pictures on how to repair it. Buying manuals can be very expensive. Technology has moved ahead quite a bit now. So instead of having to buy, let's say you have 8 different John Deere machines or 8 different Toro machines. Instead of buying 8 manuals, because each one of these manuals is around $40 or $50. And so if each manual costs $40 or $50, you can see how much money is in tech manuals back there. Well, technology has moved forward a long ways, and now I can buy one CD from Toro, and it has every single repair manual that Toro has on all their equipment on one CD. So I can buy it, I can put it into my computer, I can bring it up, if I want to print that page, because I'm going to be working on it, it's going to get oil on it, I can just print the pages off, take it back to the machine, and actually work on it. John Deere has the same thing. They've got all their operators manuals and all of their tech manuals on a CD-ROM, and you can pull it off of there. Parts manuals are the same way. Toro has tried to do the easy route. Rather than sending out CDs all the time with updated parts, theirs is on the internet. So you go down the internet, go in there, go to the Toro web page, and it says Parts Viewer. You can type in any machine they have, and it will bring it up. You can print the pages off, and you can actually order online from them. So, or just print the page off, stick it in the fax machine, and fax it to Western Equipment and have the parts ordered. You don't have to write anything down. And so technology has got to a point where technicians or any shop out there should have a computer accessible by the technician, whoever's working on your equipment, so that they can get on the internet and use these CDs that actually make it easier than buying all those manuals. Because you tend to get a lot of machines that are old and new. So you can't really afford to buy all of them. And if you're buying a new piece of equipment, part of the specs that you can spec out is make sure there's an operator's manual, which is pretty common, and make sure that there's a service manual, because we're talking about a lot of money here. But without it, it's kind of hard to work on it. So get your operator's manuals.